All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome down to our first quote unquote losers bracket match for the day. These are teams that have lost at least one match along the way, but are still participating in the event and the right to play for the international prize pool. Zath, talk to me about the SCCC lineup as they spawn here on Northern Waters.
Yeah, sure. So SCCC is bringing Ohio and a Montana. They've got Des Moines, double Moscow, and a Worcester, which is interesting. And then we've got ourselves a Gearing and a double Ragnars. So SCCC cheating and really bringing, what, 6 cruisers?
Uh, yeah, basically you've got, let's see, 3 heavy cruisers, 3 light cruisers, and then Fuzzballs is gearing, and that's kind of basically where you're at. Yeah.
Right.
All right, opposing them from the south, the gentlemen calling themselves Beach. If you play competitive here on North America, you're probably familiar with these guys. This is what most of us refer to as simply Gaishu's team because they tend to change their clan name the way the rest of us change socks. They are bringing Ohio Yamato, Double Des Moines, Goliath. Haven't seen one of those yet today. Marceau, Shimakaze, and hey, there must be something in the water, Zath. They also seem to have a double Ragnar.
Yeah, it's almost as if the Ragnar is a very strong ship and might be overpowered, and people are starting to finally figure that out.
Who knew? I couldn't have possibly predicted that. All right, well, let's get on with the game, Zath. All right, well, early deployments here. Looks as if SCCC going pretty heavy over to the C flank. Worcester, Des Moines, Montana gearing. Moscow Ragnar headed to B. Ohio Moscow Ragnar over to A. I'm trying to gauge. Looks like I'm not really sure where Beach is they're kind of a much more evenly distributed team at the moment, Zath.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of the dual Ragnar going together as
this is
they spotted each other.
This is mean what they're about to do to Everett.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he couldn't even fire right there for fear of getting smacked. Matsukaze, Potato 69, just kind of clinging to each other for mutual support there. Matsukaze taking a little bit of damage from Peregrinus' Ohio. They are still lit. And there we go, Matsukaze finally going dark, and Potato joining him. Gaishu's Marceau quickly into A. He'll be bagging that. No way to stop him, really. He'll have that in moments. Everybody else still kind of getting lined up here.
Right. Right. I'm surprised. I thought there would have been more damage done to both Ragnars, all three, something like that. But hey, whatever.
Well, the 2-on-1 Ragnar, like that is not something that I'm excited about. Like I like Ragnar; she's a very strong ship, but solo against another destroyer, she's very mean. But now you're looking at like 2 Ragnars versus one Ragnar. Again, how many times have we talked about you always want to be trying to engineer engagements where you outnumber the opposition? We're seeing that right here as Matsukaze and Everett detect each other on the surface again. Potato 69 angling to get his guns back into this fight.
Oh, Everett's got to be careful. He might pull forward right into a torpedo.
He's got a bit of a gap here, but it is going to cause him to slow down and show a bit more of his ship to the opposing team that he's going to want as he's down under 10,000 HP trying to heal and get out of there.
Yep. And I mean that's what happens with Ragnar. It's got that 25mm plating armor, which is great, except Ragnars can penetrate other Ragnars.
They can indeed. Those 6-inch guns have plenty of pin to pin that 25mm quote unquote belt armor, mostly hull armor there, midships armor, let's say, of the Ragnar.
Right, exactly.
Squarius Green's Mospa now drawing all the hate. Look how quickly they're beating him up.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you're the only visible target for people to shoot at.
Well, that's true. You only got one thing to shoot at. When everything looks like a hammer, Zath. Sorry, when everything looks like a nail. There it is.
Right.
More Yamato shells coming in on Squarius as well. He's taken one of those salvos already. The dispersion on this one not quite as friendly. Only one hit there. 5 minutes gone. SCCC kind of, I mean, they own C. They've given up A. That's kind of to be expected. Most of the fight right now seemingly over the B cap as the double Ragnar of Beach is making just mincemeat of SCCC's attempts to get into and hold on to this cap.
Right. Meanwhile, SCCC's got C no problem. And Beach has A, no problem. So really, it's just a question of how long can Squarius hold out?
Yeah. I mean, Beach is going to pick up B at this point. It can't be stopped anymore. Everett's Ragnar is too far back. Squarius' Moskva has already used his radar, and he pretty much needs to not be shot anymore as he falls under 8,000
Oh,
HP here.
yeah, that had to have been the Yamato woman driver just
Yep.
smacking him.
Yep, absolutely. More another Yamato Seville landing in for some full pins there. Squarius basically has to cower for his life behind this island as Beach moves out to an early cap advantage, slowly growing a lead.
B-ball man Greg might find some gearing torps. Nah, I think he'll be fine. He's moving. I think he'll be fine.
All right, Zath. So I'm going to put you in the same put you on the spot, same way we did last time, right?
Oh,
You're
cool.
the
We're
S
gonna
triple.
predict the end.
Yeah, well, you're the SCCC caller. This is the
Yeah.
map you're presented with right now. What do? How do you reposition things? How do you move your pieces around the board to try and change the status quo?
Well, let's see. There's choice one is to push against the Shimakaze Goliath pair. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's probably not going to happen. Option two is to push into B, which, well, it's got an Ohio and Yamato that have cross shots both on B cap. That doesn't look smart. So I got to say, I think their way back in is to push into A, and that's going to require them to get rid of Seps Des Moines that's over on the one line.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like Peregrinus, and you can kind of see it now. Peregrinus is making full revolutions for A, full speed ahead, damn the torpedoes. He's going in, and I think he's already switching his guns to the right side. He wants to get a shot on Seps Des Moines, and he's gonna have to get in, and he's gonna have to get around Sep quickly before the Ragnar and Marceau duel can deal with him.
They have tried to also kind of simultaneously push B a little bit, Zath. It looked like they were going to bring. Oh,
Mm.
they were using fuzzballs to smoke Devo's Wooster up towards the B cap, but somehow Devo got turned around and there just took a big citadel from B-Ball Man's Ohio. And now it's like he's spinning around like he's like, no, I was going into B, and nope, I changed my mind, is kind of where I think he's at right now.
Well, he's just backing in, and you can almost hear it go beep 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 as he's trying to get into that poor smoke.
SCCC brought their other Ragnar over to the top end of B. That's Sinner's Nest, but Sinner's in a big gunfight with Potato and Gaishu. He's given up a ton of his HP. He's going to hang back here by his buddy Everett, probably pop a couple of heals before he gets into combat again. And Peregrinus has turned around, Zath. Or no, you think is he going? Oh, okay. He's trying to swing wide to push the Des Moines, it looks like.
Yeah, and I really don't like this because you've got Griefer pushing from that side already, and you can see he's coming under just sustained fire from 3 ships now. And Griefer can't do this in the long term, and this is something
Nope.
that needs to happen now. So I really dislike the idea to then move Peregrinus into this position because now there's no cross shot, there's no pressure on Sep's rear, which Peregrinus was going to threaten.
Well, they are slowly moving Griefer back, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not doing a whole lot to Sep in return.
Right.
I'm wondering if part of the intention of trying to force Sep back is, would Kashima have a shot from here? Kashima, you see, go look over Kashima's shoulders, Ath. See that saddle in the island? If he gets far enough north with a spotter plane up, he would have a shot on Sep. If Sep in fact, he would have a shot right now. It's a question of
Mm-hmm.
whether or not he can get him over the island.
His spotter is up. He is
He's
looking.
He's looking for this shot. He knows there it comes.
There it is. Let's
There's the
follow the
shot.
trail.
Sep seems to have a sense that these are coming. He might have incoming fire alert on his captain.
He split the upright. Coming in.
The lead looks really good, but Sep turns in and not much out of those.
Yep, and that's where having Peregrinus out in the middle would have helped because now he could just punch him in the face. Instead, he's got to take the long way around. Griefer's continuing to be farmed.
Well, Peregrinus seems to be drawing all the farming hate right now, although Griefer's under 13,000 there. He gave up
That's
a huge chunk of health. SCCC in general way down on health. At least it feels that way. Maybe it's just because they've got these 2 ships that are really beat up. Griefer's Moskva very much a pick target now. If you're Beach,
that's right.
Double fire. Puts that out very quickly. More AP going down range at battleship difference. He got a good hit a minute ago, but that one not nearly as impactful.
Yep. Also, quick correction. It appears that this is actually game 2. SCCC won
Yes,
game 1 over
that's
Beach.
correct. This is game number 2. Griefer's going to go down under the sustained fire of the Ragnar and battleship differences Des Moines. It's only a matter of time. Peregrinus pulled up the brakes, Zath.
Yeah, I don't get this at all.
Yeah, this feels like they're going to sacrifice Griefer's ship for no gain, because now if Peregrinus moves forward, Sepp has got a place to run. Whereas before, a minute ago, he wouldn't have, but now he does because the Moskva's off the board.
Exactly. Meanwhile, look at what happened to SCCC over at BCAP. They've all consolidated north of B to do what? I wonder. Like,
I'm not sure, but their A flank is going to melt very, very quickly. Peregrinus is going out. He has to know it. He might be able to take battleship differences with him here.
No.
Battleship showing him a bit of a broadside. He's taking the salvo here. I think he's going to get him. He doesn't. He gets a good hit in, but it's not a kill.
Nope.
And just like that, down 2 ships, SCCC on the back foot of a game they must win if they want to stay in the event.
That's right, because this is the loser bracket, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's best of 3. So this is a 2-all. Well, SCCC has to win this in order. Well, no, if they lose this, then we go to game 3.
SCCC has to win this to force game 3. Losers bracket games down here should be best of 3. I thought.
According to but according to tournament, SCCC won the first game.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That I misunderstood. I apologize. I've been saying it wrong. I thought they lost the first game.
Yeah. Beach has to win this to force it. So SCCC can afford to lose it. They'll go to a game 3.
My apologies. Our apologies then. Okay. Yep. Ascons has corrected us in chat. We have been saying it wrong.
Yep, folks. This is what happens when we're jumping, trying to find other games and all that kind of good stuff for you guys.
Yep.
So, I'd rather you see a game, and if we screw up casting and calling a little bit, so be it. At least you get to see a game.
Yeah, I'd much rather screw up my call of it than not bring you a game.
Exactly. Battleship difference now shooting against Everett, and then Sinner's Nest is going to come in and try to add some fire. Let's see if Battleship difference goes down. That could be a big play for SCCC if he can make it.
They desperately need a kill here, Zath. They've got to get it. Wherever it comes from, SCCC must get a kill here if they want to extend the game. They cannot get into C. Or sorry, A. There's no way they can break in there. They want to keep the game going. They've got to kill a ship. It's going to be battleship difference if they're going to get this kill at all. But for the moment, he's on 1,700 HP and still alive in there, as Everett's going to go down here. If Everett goes out, the game's over. The game's over.
Sinner's Nest also beached, so Sinner's actually is going to go out. There it is.
There it is.
And there's my death pick.
Yep, had to pull the camera back far enough. So that forces a game 3 in this match. A clean sweep for Beach, or I should say a flawless victory for Beach, as they lose no ship.
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory. Whew. Well,
yeah,
I mean... Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
No, go for it.
I gotta say, what happened at A, it's just, that should stay an A. I mean, oh my God. I'm surprised to see that decision, but... I mean, we're not listening to the voice comms. Obviously, they had a caller that waved Peregrinus off. I think the big problem was that because the SCCC destroyers, the 2 Ragnars north of B, were beat up as much as they were, they probably were afraid of destroyers coming through that channel and going into A from the mid, which obviously would have messed with Peregrinus just a little bit. But I still kind of feel like that play needed to happen.
It did need to happen, Zath. I just feel like it wasn't, like you, I feel like it wasn't executed as well as it could have been.
Right.
Griefer took a ton of damage while Peregrinus kind of moved over to the 1 line to get into position. Then Peregrinus was pushing up, and Griefer was like, all right, we're going. And then Peregrinus stopped, and Griefer died. And then in the end, it all just kind of fell apart. It was the right decision. It was the right play. It just felt like it didn't get executed very cleanly. And as a result, they lost both ships.
Right, exactly.
All right, well, let's head back to the studio. I believe that we're going to be moving on to the finals match, but I'm not sure, guys. Do you know where we're headed next?
We're just trying to figure that out now. I think I think that what we should do is go over to Bonks 07. They're getting ready to get started.
Okay, NA
that
finals.
All right.
is the finals. I think we should bid adieu to SCCC and Beach here. We may see them later this evening, if I'm not mistaken.
We very well might.
While I was looking at the loser brackets over here, I noticed something that if BN with the dashes, if BN Clásico manages to take another win off of AP, it looks like they're 1-1 right now. BN Clásico will go on to face BN Nuevo again in the loser brackets.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, that was a
funny.
great. If so, man, if you get the chance to watch those games, somebody casts them. If it's us, if it's somebody else, go watch those games.
Yeah.
Those two teams are fun to watch. They love to fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whomever. Go ahead, Zaf, please.
One big difference that a lot of people don't realize with the Buenos Noches teams is that they don't have a alpha team and Bravo team, and we've been kind of poking fun of that and calling them,
Verde and Rojo.
Verde Rojo, classic and diet and all that.
Yeah.
But the reality is, what they do is they take their team and their pool of players that signed up, and they literally split them in half. So you've got a good mix of their stronger players with their weaker players on one team, stronger players with weaker players on the other team, and they just tell them to go and have fun. And I think that's one thing that's really cool with it. It's not we've got one push team and one team that is just going to try and see what can happen. This is Buenos Noches, 100% on both sides, and that's what made the Civil War so fun to cast.
They have two teams that they can just literally throw together then, and both teams can make it this far, should say something about the efficacy of the Buenos Noches clan. So well done to them. Whomever wins the next match between SCCC and Beach will go on to face KSC, whom we just cast in the semifinals, to then see who goes on against either BN or AP. And then we're going to go ahead and move over to 07 versus Bonks for the KOTS 13 North American Finals. We'll bid adieu to Sea Raptor and Zaf for now until we're ready to bring them back. Thank you, gentlemen.
No worries.
Yeah.
So, 07 versus Bonks. Here we have one. This is going to be a big one. So, these are both. Obviously, these are two of the best teams in the North American region. These are two of the best teams in the world. 07, of course, very cold, very calculating, very, very highly skilled. Bonks, of course, a bunch of toddlers who were allowed to eat paint for several years and still managed to get here.
Now, I just have to ask, who was it that won? Who was it that won the last time?
That was SCCC versus Bonks. So this is now Bonks' second time in the NA finals.
They're close, man. They're biting at the heels.
They certainly are, yeah. So we're going to start them off with Islands of Ice, followed by Northern Waters, North, Land of Fire, and Warrior's Path today for Bonks versus 07. The bans, is this serious? Did everyone just collectively agree let's ban Venezia and Nevsky?
Well, it would seem... I don't really know. I'm actually a little bit surprised. I've seen several Venezia plays that really just resulted in some cruiser somewhere bow tanking the Venezia and taking extremely little damage. For those that didn't know, when the Venezia was first released, it had very aggressive angles to be able to pen its sap. However, after the first clan battle season came to a close, they did nerf that. They kind of brought it back in line with the rest of the ships of the line, so that if you do have a good line, if you have a good bow tanking position, there's really not a lot that's going to bite. As for the Nevsky, it's a highly regarded pick. It's got fast shells, it's got great radar, and as a light cruiser, I'm told it's quite well armored for what it does. Not a big surprise that that's gone. But I have to say that both of these picks, both of them savage destroyers, which means that 07 and Bonks must be banking on some DD play for these.
Absolutely. So what we've noticed is a lot of Ragnar. We've seen a number of Ragnar. We've seen a lot of Marceau. The one thing you do not want to see in a Marceau is one of the two of these ships right here. The Venezia or the Nevsky can just chunk shot after shot after shot into you and whittle your health down, get you into that damage saturation if you're a Marceau really, really fast. Ragnar, it's a little thicker, it's a little fatter, it's a little slower than a Marceau. So I'm only assuming, or I can only assume that the reasoning is the exact same. Those two are powerful destroyers, and these two just dumpster him. So
I'm gonna
not
ask.
surprising.
I'm gonna ask a bizarre question just while we're on this quick topic. The Zhao has been in the limelight. Recently, it's slated to get a buff. It's going to get 2,000 additional health.
That's
Probably
right.
get more buffs after that, but that's where it is right now. And the Zhao has beautiful accuracy. It's got nice flat gun arcs. If people were absolutely concerned about DDs, now granted, the Zhao is widely regarded to be underpowered, but if you really wanted to bring a surprise anti-DD pick, is there a chance in the world that you would bring a Zhao as maybe like something in your back pocket?
I don't have a magic 8 ball to consult, but all signs are pointing to no.
Okay.
I think the main issue is that the Zhao is just overmatched by 457 millimeter guns, or 431s even, which Ohio and Kremlin are such strong picks in battleships that one good hit on a Zhao and he's half dead. So if the turret angles and firing arcs were the firing angles of the Zhao's turrets were a little better, I think we might actually start to see some. It's very, very stealthy, but
Well,
no, I don't think so.
well, sometimes off the wall questions result in funny answers. Well, it does look like most of the teams are readied up. So if we could swap over to the next map and we can start looking at where this first contest is going to go down. It's going to go down on Islands of Ice. How do you see this one playing out? Now, we haven't seen 07 versus Bonk so far. So what do you think we're going to see?
Well, I think we're going to see a staring contest at sea. I think we will see either a Moskva, Des Moines, or maybe another Z-52 taking that central island just to the west of the B cap, which is a very, very strong position to be in and lets you kind of illuminate destroyers that are lurking around A or B. I find that this map tends to be won by whomever takes the A cap and pushes the other team away. A cap, for some reason, to me, just seems like it's a little easier to actually walk your battleship up the one line if you have a Kremlin or island hop with your Des Moines or other short-range high DPM cruisers. So I suspect it'll be one at the A cap. I am also expecting a large number of destroyers, so I suspect we'll see destroyers hopping back and forth between A and B.
Okay. Now we saw earlier today with 07 versus KSC that they had a Salem. 07 had a Salem wedged and between the Giant Rock and the Little Rock over at sea. And it pulled the Montana all the way over to the 10 line before he was able to get some shells in there. And even then, the amount of punishment that was inflicted was extreme. I think the Montana went down before the Salem did. Do you think that might be something they're looking for, or they could just stick something with a giant health pool into sea and have it live there forever?
Well, see, that's the tough thing about the C cap, and this is why I generally tend to think that the game is won or lost at the A cap, is because the C cap has this huge island that everybody can be a part of, but trying to actually push around the side corner of the C cap, I'm using my hands as if you guys as if I can, is really, really difficult. It's sort of like what we just saw between KSC and 07, where they tried to get around Land of Fire, the A cap island. So A cap's where it's at, is what I'm going to say.
All right. Well, if A cap is where it's at, the game has just kicked off. That's going to be game 1, 07 v Bonks. Let's kick it over to our casters because they are where it's at now.